Sit back. Put my shit back on this fucking porch. Yeah. I'm sorry when you got out the motherfucking car. You're trying to put my shit back on this motherfucking porch. Sure. You done lost your motherfucking mind. You gonna come up on my shit and take my shit? You got it. You lucky. You got it. You lucky. You got it. Motherfucker. You see this motherfucker just tried to take the car?
I hate when guys text you, did you take the plan B? No. I forgot.
Yes. Welcome, people. Welcome to another session here. I go by the name Chaos Rain here, as always. And today I have another special guest, as you see him right here, the one and only Amir Browner. What's good, Mary? As he gets his mic set up. Yes.
Yeah, what's up? Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
All right. Yeah. Get yourself situated a little bit. Let me just go for the intro. If you're new to Chaos Rain channel, please make sure you hit that red button and hit the top, not the middle, but the top notification bell where there's uploads and live streams here on the Chaos Rain channel. You can also follow me on Twitter at Chaos Rain 7. And now you can add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. The links are in the About section, including the Discord service, which you can add me on Discord as well. Try to build this for a little bit, so you know how it is. What's good? So, as y'all know, today's subject matter and title, as I pull up, make sure, okay, is child support. Is child support tearing your behind up? Which is a question that has to be asked. And I'm probably going to do some Googling and find the numbers if I can, depending on how good I do it. But we got to really ask this question now in the 21st century. So, no further ado, I'm going to let Amiri start us off. Go ahead, Amiri. The floor is yours.
Hey, what's up, man? What's going on?
I'm good. You know.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Yeah.
We're here doing this content thing again, you know, talking about things that's either comfortable and uncomfortable. You know how it goes.
Yeah, well, we don't like to have uncomfortable conversations. That's we live in a very
Hello? Oh, you there, Mary? Cause you went silent. 1 second, guys.
Yeah, you can hear me?
I get you now. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, people they like being able to tell the truth to other people, but they don't want to hear the truth. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why you hear this constant theme, but we got to hold these women accountable. We got to hold that one accountable. Because, you know, the day earlier I was listening to a stream on child support, and you know, I'm not gonna sit here. See, I don't grandstand and pretend like I'm not able to see merit within an argument, you know, because I heard the brothers talking, and so I won't sit up there and pretend as if, you know, child support isn't a problem or isn't a burden for some people. I'm not gonna sit up here and pretend as if it's not a racket ran by the state and all these other things. I get that. I get how those issues could be a problem. My only position on it is, why put yourself in that situation? And if you're already in that situation, why sit up here and complain about it all day? Complaining about a problem is not going to solve it. Like a lot of that is, you know, you have a lot of dudes who want to get sympathy. They want to play the victim, you know, a lot of times. And see, that's why I've been on this little Bible kick lately, because in the end, man, we all get what we deserve in the end. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why we even have the whole religious theme with Jesus and exercising the you know, the child support demons, because a lot of times brothers be out here moving reckless, then they get caught up and then want to play the victim, but all you was caring about at the time was your pleasure. You wasn't thinking with your big head. You was thinking with your little head. So you're not a victim. You're a participant, King. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way that works. Now I can understand if, especially like within our community, we already know we have an abysmal marriage rate. So the majority of brothers that's on child support, they're not on child support because they was married and got divorced. A lot of them on child support because they was just doing their thing and messed around and got the woman pregnant. Like I said, this is why what I'm saying doesn't resonate with them as much as what's the common rhetoric today, because they all out here operating the same way. And so even if you're a man that's not in that position, you know how easy it is for you to be in that position, because they all operate in the same way. You see what I'm saying? They all operate in the same way. That's what I'm talking about. I said, like, a lot of the arguments that's presented, a lot of brothers don't want to be moral. They don't want to live up to the morality they trying to instill on the women. They want to be able to get down how they getting down, and like I said, just mitigate the consequences as much as possible, man. So when they talking about abortion, they're not anti-abortion, they anti-child support. They know if they mess around and get this woman pregnant, they cannot force this woman to have an abortion. And if the woman keep the child and she goes to get assistance, she doesn't even have to be actively looking to put them on child support. If she just goes to get assistance, the state is going to turn around and look to recoup that money. Because from the state vantage point, they're not subsidizing. They trying to make like they subsidizing these women. No, the state is subsidizing you. See, it's still a patriarchal setup. It's the top echelon men enforcing their will on the low class men, on the lower tiered males. That's really what that is, making them pay, because we got to understand the historicity of why we have child support, because child support comes from the common laws of Europe. There has never been some type of social safety net in place in American society. So this whole rise of the welfare state, that is racially charged dog whistle rhetoric that came out of the Southern strategy, this so-called rise of the welfare state. You've always had some type of social safety net in place for women and children, or women with children that didn't have a father. You see what I'm saying? So there's always been some type of safety net in place. But what was happening, you had this thing going on where this was what was called poor man's desertion, where men would, for whatever reason, they would just leave. You see how easy it is for niggas to walk out now. She ran me off. All of a sudden, these women just running all y'all off. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, for whatever reason, for this inexplicable reason, this woman just running you off. But see, that's not a new phenomenon, because the women running us off now because they know they can get this and they can get that and whoop de whoop de whoop. Okay, then why you was leaving before then? Before that was doing it, and you can't tell me it wasn't, because I have the empirical data to know that the niggas was doing it, men were doing it. So that's how you get child support, man. That's how you get child, because if you don't have checks and balances in place, the men go like how the men claiming the women are abusing the system. Well, before the system was in place, men was abusing it. They would just leave. I'm going to get a pack of cigarettes. I'll be back, and then never come back and just go start a new family like Serena Williams and Venus Williams' daddy. Like him. Like, see what he did? Like him. So that's how you get child support. Niggas, the men would just get up and leave and go start a whole new family somewhere. So that's where it comes from. So stop, like, you see what I'm saying? So what we find ourselves at now with the system, who you think, who created it? Who created it? That's why Cerulean, and it's an apt quote when he says that the original sin of what it says, social decline is abandonment. So this is how men was getting down when you didn't have all that in place now. But see, now the child support holds their ass accountable. So yeah, you can leave, but you're gonna have to pay. But you see, now you have this thing now where we want to make it culturally and socially like it's they doing it because they bitter, and which, don't get me wrong, you have some women who do that. But a lot of men, you got to make them live up to their responsibility, because if you don't, they're gonna do whatever. They're gonna do whatever. And you can't tell me I'm lying, because that's what the historical record shows. That's what the historical record shows, man. You see what I mean? And they got this thing. They saying fathers. Like, I heard the guy, I think his name Mr. Palmer, he was saying that on it. They saying fathers not necessary. Wait a minute. So that's I guess the feminists and the left is saying that, but you niggas say the same thing. Because what they try and do is they try and force these women into a place of choosing between deadbeat fatherhood and not putting their ass on child support. So they say stuff like, well, the man did, just because he had sex don't mean he agreed to be a father. So that man that's being a deadbeat father, did he agree to have it? You see what I'm saying? So, but if you really believe that the father was as necessary as you say, then it'll be a universal standard. You wouldn't pick and choose when you want to deploy the necessity of fatherhood, nigga. If you really believe that, you wouldn't engage in this selective fatherhood that you want to use as a moral fucking device. So just like, I pay attention to the rhetoric, and I'm able to sift through the rhetoric and see the bullshit. Because like I said, really, with a lot of the rhetoric, what it is niggas want their cake and eat it too, man. Mm-hmm. They want their cake and eat it too. You know what I'm saying? If you really believe fatherhood is necessary as it is, under no circumstances would you excuse deadbeat fatherhood. Because it don't matter if you consented to being a father. We all know where kids come from. So that's the risk that you're taking. That's the risk that you're taking. It's like if you go bungee jumping or if you go skydiving, you ain't consenting to die, but you know what the risks are. You can have that parachute, you can have that backup parachute, but if neither one of them open, you know what the consequences are. So you know what the risks are. And it's the same thing. So like, that's why I'd be like, man, nah, be a man. Oh, see, he talking that be a man stuff. He ain't got no sympathy. It ain't about that. If we believe that fatherhood is as important as we say it is, why are you making exceptions for fatherhood? Why? If you really believe that, you would do everything in your power to guard fatherhood, meaning you wouldn't put yourself in a position to where the fatherhood would be in jeopardy. Like I know dudes right now who got kids, and they pay child support. They're paying like $80, I think, a week or something like that. But right now, if the nigga seen his child walking down the street, the child wouldn't know him and he wouldn't know her. You got a lot of dudes like that. Like I'm telling you, you got a lot of cats, man, who'll make these arguments, but that's their pedigree and that's how they getting down. But talking about the left saying, the liberal saying fatherhood ain't important. You saying it with your actions. You saying it with your actions. You ain't no better. So a lot of times what you see happening, what you see playing out is people's karma. It's people's karma, man. You know what I'm saying? You out there, you doing your thing. You ain't gonna turn down no cooch. You don't want to use no condom because that's whack sex. So shit. Then once you make a baby with the woman, now because abortion isn't defined as a man's right, you can't force her to get one. She chooses to keep it. Now you paying child support. Now you bitter and want to play the fucking victim. When it was in your power to control the outcome from the beginning. See what it is many brothers, they want to set the dominoes in motion and then want to be mad that they can't avert that final domino from falling once they set it in motion. Once they set it, once you send that sperm out there, your seed out there, you're no longer in control of how it play out. But if you're making these arguments and you believe what you were saying as much as you saying you believe it, then you would be a lot more cautious in how you just disseminated that seed and that sperm. But this is what you're dealing with when you're dealing with these modern derelict Negro males like Cerulean be talking about. It's what you're dealing with. And that's why, like, I find it very hard to have sympathy for dudes like that. Because, like I said, we all like sex. What man don't? So the moral weight and the moral responsibility for fatherhood is the same. It's a universal weight. You don't get to be selective and then want to play victim. And I'm not gonna sympathize with you like that because I don't see I'm supposed to see myself in that situation. I don't see myself in that situation because whatever happened, whichever way it go, I'm gonna live up to the mandate. Even if it kill me, even if I gotta die in the process. And that's the way real men used to get down, but you don't have that in this day and age. You do not have that. You have this selective masculinity and manhood and shit that's running around here. Like I was talking to somebody today about it on Facebook. Like, you know why you have a lot of these channels that then rose up, these black male advocacy channels and these alpha channels. The reason why a lot of that's came up, man, because you're dealing with a generation of dudes who weren't raised with the proper male role modeling. So they don't really know how a man get down. So really what you have like the blind leading the blind a lot of times. Like this is why you see them saying the things and doing it because they don't know. Like you got to realize the role model for a lot of these niggas was like Ice-T, pimps. You know what I'm saying? I talked about that before. Like, you know, who that is? Superfly, Goldie from Superfly. You know what I'm saying? So this is like this has been within the black male ethos for the last 40 or some odd years. This has been the standard of masculinity for a lot of them. So this is how they get down. Like that's why I say like we demoralize, man. We don't even like our moral compass as a people was shot, man. It's shot. It shouldn't even be a question. And like I said, I understand that, you know, having to make those payments, yeah, that can be a hindrance or be a burden. But like I said, shit, like the men today getting off easy, they're getting off light because back in the day you had to marry that woman. You know what I'm saying? You ain't get to just make no weekly payment or no monthly payment. You had to take the full responsibility of that woman and make her your wife or suffer the social stigma.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I find funny. It's like it's the dudes who are the most derelict making songs talking about pump and dump, but then want to talk about the black woman destroying your image. No, you destroying your own fucking image. You know what I'm saying? That's like that time when I gave MOT that good tongue lashing. They niggas been salty and butthurt ever since. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody celebrating, like talking about these other groups of women. Nobody is celebrating or holding a parade when they see one of you black asses coming. And I'm not saying that that's right, that's a correct or justified view. But what I'm saying is this is how you're fucking perceived, and it's your own fault you're perceived that way. Nobody has done more to assassinate the character of black men than black men. Can we be honest?
Yeah, somewhere, yeah.
Can we be honest? The shit like these misandries saying and Cynthia G, that's a drop in the bucket. The shit that was being said on Oprah and all this, that's a drop in the fucking bucket. You got clowns, buffoons out here making songs talking about pump and dump, and that's going and you have communities all across the world looking at that, and this is what. But when they have this perception of you, you want to blame it on the black woman.
Mm.
So I'm saying you want to blame it on the black woman. Look in the fucking mirror. See what I'm saying? Look in the mirror. Like, let's talk about it. Why do we see why do we have this thing now right now where we see what's his name? What's that brother name? Russell Wilson. Why do we see Russell Wilson as a square or lame or corny? That's what I'm telling you. You got dudes spending all kind of money to learn game and to learn how to charm these women and get the casual, the easy casual sexual access.
Mm-hmm.
But try and establish the same type of thing in terms of husbandry and fatherhood and being a family man and see the type of reception I get from these modern niggas. But they'll complain. See what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
They'll complain. So then when you're doing that activity, you know what I'm saying? You the one who opened the door for that child support demon to come in and run roughshod in your life. You don't get no sympathy from me. You don't get no sympathy from me. You ain't no fucking victim, man. You ain't no victim. And that's what I tell them, husbands don't pay child support, playboy. So you only got a few options within it. It's like sitting here complaining and whining. You either got to moderate your behavior, do everything in your power to not get these women pregnant. Or if you do get them pregnant, you just got to resign yourself to the fact that you at the woman's mercy. That's it. Now I get it from the anytime you have bureaucracy set up, you're gonna have corruption. That's just how it works. So I know that you do have some men who get fucked over. Like you can't have a conversation on enforcing child support, but I'm of the mind that child support is a necessary evil. Like if I was running shit, you niggas gonna be paying child support. You ain't like, don't think I'm gonna be like, that's a black man. I'm a black man. Let me have empathy and sympathy. I know the struggle. No, you know what I'm saying? Because I really believe in the importance of fatherhood. You're gonna pay your shit. You're gonna pay it. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't pay the fine, don't do the grind. It's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? Or go get a vasectomy or something, or they got male birth control coming out. Take that. But I'm not going to ever sacrifice the well-being of children for the convenience of fucking men. It don't work like that. Sorry, not sorry. Exactly, Joshua. Like Joshua Wall said, why should the children suffer because you couldn't be responsible? But you see what I'm saying? Well, being a father is more than just monetary support. Bullshit. Everything hinges on money. Period. Like they see it. Like we had this thing where money is optional. We really have this thing in our psychosis and in our psychology where we think that money is a luxury. Money is a luxury item for black people, for black women and black children. No, women and children need money. It takes money to run a fucking household. It takes money to raise children. Period. So you got to do everything in your power to generate as much income as you can. That's the world we live in. It is what it is. It is what it is, and nobody knows that more than a family man who's the provider in his household. Okay, hold on, Charles Willie. That's my fan. Damn fan. Yeah. So anyway, like I was saying, but see, they see what
that's what it is. I didn't notice that. I was just letting you rock it.
That's my damn ceiling fan. I got one of them long drop down ceiling fans, and so when I have it on, it kind of wobbles, and that's like the, you know how you have the strings that you pull and turn on the fan, turn on the light. It got like the wooden knobs at the end, so they swing around and they click on the ceiling fan. But anyway, they see like what I'm saying is antiquated and old fashioned. See what I'm saying? Like a lot of stuff is with these modern dudes, but that's what I'm talking about. But complaining about the modern women, that's what you deserve. Y'all just alike. Both of you just as goddamn demoralized and anti-family. Like it's the women, but it ain't you. It's you too. It's you too. You see what I'm saying? So hold up. Judge Dre. That's because your lazy ass need to put the weight on it. I don't know what he's talking about. Who is that? Judge Dre.
It's cool. It's cool. Judge Dre's all right. I mean,
who he talking to?
I don't know. Keep going, because I'm not sure what it was directed, but it's not a question to you because you put no question mark. Keep going.
Yeah. But anyway, like I was saying, you gotta. Oh, Joshua Walsh. Paying child support is the easy scapegoat for you sorry bastards. I trolled on Facebook when I fuck with you about child support, but I agree with you 1,000%. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, but not in these, like these same guys that you see complaining, ask them if they're gonna turn down the poom poom and watch the answer. Shit, no, hell no. The same nigga. You know what I'm saying? It could be Black China, they'll run up in it raw. You know what I'm saying? Then 12, 24 months later, when they catching purity hell, I'll be sitting there playing the fucking victim. You know what I'm saying? No, exercise some restraint. You know what I'm saying? Exercise some restraint. It could be Brittany Renner. I'm telling you, man, like a lot of those positions these dudes making is bullshit, man. You know what I'm saying? It's bullshit. It ain't coming from like our moral compass. I told you that. Chaos, like our moral ethical compass is it's non-existent at this point. Non-existent. You know what I'm saying? You do what you're supposed to do as a man. You set the standard. You don't expect, you don't ask other people to do something you're not willing to do. And then once you're the one setting the example, then you have the moral authority to talk shit and critique and raise hell. But you can't be just as wrong as the people you claim you want to hold accountable. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You have to set the example. And then when you've done everything within your power, within the parameters of your sovereignty as a man, then you can have the righteous indignation to hold women and others accountable without restraint and without fear. Why you think I operate the way I operate? Like I be telling, I know what I'm saying, right? See, it's easy to talk shit, and I don't care how many likes you get and how popular what you're saying is. If you can't practically apply what you're saying every day, then it don't mean shit. And you can't practically apply what they're saying every day because they the ones complaining. They the ones complaining. See what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say it's the difference between theorists and practitioners. If you can't practice it, if you can't practically apply it day in, day out, and live by it, rise to it, and sleep to it, go to bed to it, then it don't mean nothing, man. And so it's not a practical worldview, because if it was, you wouldn't be in a position you in, sitting here whining and complaining. And that's what I be trying to explain to them. I'm not the one complaining. I'm not the one complaining, man. I remember when I was telling them about penis inhibition. Oh, he's simping. That all these niggas, like, you know what I'm saying? He a simp. Well, you the one paying child support out them for the fucking ass, not me. So I'm saying you the one paying. You the one where child support ripping you a new one. You know what I'm saying? But had you exercised some penis inhibition and used some discretion and not fell for the bait and not fell into the trap, you wouldn't be sitting here right here complaining right now.
But
Feeling some type of way.
Yeah. Amirir, but that's the whole point. Just waggle the little tail a little bit, bend it over a little bit, just spread it open, you know what I'm saying? And something's going to just reel it in, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The best feeling in the world, to dive with some sweet pussy.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, who doesn't like, who doesn't like sex? But what I'm saying is, if you're going to engage in activity, then you got to respect everything that come with it. That's why I made the analogy about bungee jumping or skydiving. Like you see those things, like what I'm talking about, what I'm using as the analogy, those things are seen like as extreme sport, right? So you understand what the risks are in engaging in that extreme sport. It's the same thing in this climate. It's the same thing when it comes to dealing with these women, when it comes to relationships or whatever the case is. You might as well consider it an extreme sport. So you taking a risk. So if it go the other way and you arrive at a less than desirable outcome, how you gonna complain? You know what I'm saying? How you knew what you were signing up for. You have, like, we see that now, like that, like masculinity is so far on the toilet where men don't even have the conviction to accept the consequences of their actions. Like you see it now, like with a lot of these so-called street dudes, they be the main one telling. But you knew what the consequences was for the activity you was living. What did you think was gonna happen? Now they snitching. They be the main one telling it. They hard when they doing it and they engage in activity. They hard as a rock. But now when it's time for the hammer to come down and it's consequence time, now you don't want to accept the consequences. That's a lot of that come from, we don't even like corporal punishment. Like you had this thing now where nobody want to see these kids beat and you can't whoop them, and man, fuck that, man. Beat their ass, man. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what corporal punishment instills in children. It instills in them the eventuality of consequences. You get to pick your choices. You don't get to pick your consequences. So I remember, like my pops, when I brought home a bad report card, it wasn't no out of control, rage and abusive thing. He would go over my report card with me, and for every bad grade I had, you're gonna get a certain number of lashes. He would explain it very, very logically, very calm, and then you knew what it was. It's whooping time. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta take the whooping. We don't have that, man. We don't have that. You gotta realize that this generation of dudes are those dudes who was raised up without that. A lot of them was raised by their mama, where the whooping and the disciplining was very reactionary. See, that's the difference between women and men, mothers and fathers. A lot of times, the woman gonna whoop you straight just out of frustration. Didn't I say put that in this? You see what I'm saying?
But mostly 9 times of the time, a father has to really, and let's be honest, and any woman that's in the chat room or anybody could vouch for this, usually when a father beats their child, he has to explain. You get me? On the average. Now, there are some fathers that won't say nothing, they'll just do it anyway. But most of the time, when there's between men and women will just slap you because they do get frustrated after a while.
Yeah, they do it. That's what I'm saying. It's an emotional response to being frustrated.
That's why I don't really advocate women really disciplining certain genders of kids, because the frustration after what it does, they're not learning from the frustration. They might stop, but they'll do it again, possibly.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. That's not discipline. See, discipline is about instilling within a person the necessity of doing what you need to do, so later on you could do what you want to do. See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, eventually, we all get what we deserve. It all washes out, and that's why I made the characterization with the effigy of Jesus, the Jesus meme. because that's what that represents. That's what the Bible represents. That's what the Bible. That's the message of the Bible. You're gonna reap what you sow. You see what I'm saying? So the universe is geared towards justice. The moral arc of the universe might be long, but it, like as Martin Luther King said, the moral arc of the universe may be a long arc, but it bends towards justice. So in the end, we all get what we deserve. And we get what we're entitled to too. Like if you're entitled to something, you already have it. So anything that we were entitled to, we were born with. You're not entitled to nothing else. You see what I'm saying? So like complaining and doing all this bitching and moaning ain't gonna change it. It ain't gonna change that. It ain't gonna change those laws and those principles in nature. But you're dealing with a contingency of men who haven't had that type of instruction in rearing. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. But it's a reason why, like I said, it's the reason why they view like what I'm saying as some off-brand, antiquated bullshit. Because a lot of them haven't been put under that. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you're gonna get what you deserve in the end, whichever way it goes, whatever activity you engage in it. You know what I'm saying? Like the sins of the father are gonna be visited upon are gonna be visited upon the children, gonna be visited upon the sons. Like the reason why you have what you have now with the child support thing is because men used to just be abandoned and stop lying. Talking about they was put out. Man, stop fucking lying. A lot of dudes would just leave. Like I told you, like I told you, like who that Venus Williams, his daughter came out saying he ain't never did nothing for him. That's what a lot of niggas want to be able to do. Leave and go start their next life with the woman they really want and raise them kids and forget all about them other kids. Niggas do that. They still doing it.
You know, it's funny because I think what's his name? He was actually a silent generation. Mr. Williams. He was almost a baby boomer. I think he was born before that. And usually back then, because they never had no fault divorce, usually how things go after you get tired, just leave and go start a new family.
Yeah, and a lot of times they'll still be married on paper. They wouldn't even bother getting divorced. That's why when niggas be talking about the marriage rate and divorce rate, those stats aren't even an actual depiction of the facts on the ground, man. The people especially black people, they wouldn't even bother to get divorced. They'll just go live their best life somewhere else. And it was easy for men to do that because you didn't have this bureaucracy in place tracking them and penalizing them for not taking care of their fucking kids. That's what the niggas complaining about. They want to be able to go back to that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When really what you inherited, you inherited the consequences of the sins your fathers committed. See what I'm saying? So you ain't gotta believe in the Bible, but the principles that's in the Bible is the reason why you're in the position you in now. You ain't got it like that. You can't just get up and leave and abandon. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. So, and I mean, I like I said, I can understand how it's a burden. I understand you have some dudes who do get a raw deal, but you know, the vast majority of these niggas, man, is just dudes out here fornicating and then getting caught up in their fornication. Let's just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? But then when the Bible tell you not to fornicate, man, fuck that book, man, fuck the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Even in the report, these niggas like to quote the AIE Black Men Making It in America report. When it talks about the engines of black men's economic success, one of them was marriage, one of them was military service, and the third one was church attendance. Mm-hmm. And the reason why, I remember I told Ramil dumbass that. And the reason with church, what I got to do with church? Because a guy who's going to church gonna be more like Russell Wilson. He ain't gonna be a fucking future. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He's gonna have a different value system, so he's not gonna be as readily caught up in the stuff you complaining about. What a lot of these niggas, a lot of them getting caught up in their own goddamn sin. Let's keep it $150. Mm-hmm. And then when the judgment come from Jesus, from the Lord, You know what I'm saying? Now you complaining and whining and don't want to accept your punishment, your judgment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Guys
So,
said Jesus. Hey, but Amir, personal question. So you're saying
Mhm.
Jesus Christ can't save me for the child support? That's gonna be the reckoning of my day of judgment of the what they call it, the raptor.
Yeah, like if you adopt the ways of righteousness and walk in it. See, because I like that's why I always use myself as an example. Like I don't have those problems because like you got to realize I got my start in the Bible. Like if I would have been more aligned in what these niggas on, then I could have easily been caught up too. But the reason why I wasn't because I was in the Bible. I started in the Bible at a young age.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I was a youth pastor at what 18 or 19. So this is why I'm not caught up in it. Matter of fact, let me get this. Let me read something right quick, because well, damn, I don't have it.
No,
What'd you say?
we could find it. That'd be good. Let me just give one notice. Oh, if people please support the channel, as you know, I'm not sure if you're there. My good queen of virtue, just put the link to the support the channel, the Cash App, and etc. And make sure you like this stream, share the stream. I will be eventually opening this up in the next 20 minutes, possibly. We shall see. I did find one article on child support. So as Amiri finds it, let me pull it up while we're waiting. Let me see it here. And this is one of the links. And be mindful, this has changed now. Last year. What's the average child support payment? Are you wondering what the average child support payment is? Whether you've just been through a divorce or you're just curious, you want to know, you have children, and you're trying to work out with a child support calculator how much you might have to pay out of your paycheck. Sorry. After crunching the numbers, you may still have some questions. Why this amount? How did the state comes up with the calculation? We have those answers here. But there are another questions we often hear. What is the average child support payment? Like any average, there are going to be a lot of variables. Some simple, don't have enough income to pay much in child support. Others are more well off with a lot of income. Typically, however, there is a way to calculate child support using a child support guideline. A court will look at your gross income minus any deductions for IG taxes. By taking your adjusted gross income, the court then multiplies it by guidelines percentage for the number of children of which you must support. So it is your usual or your annual salary is 15 grand and you have one child support, you will be paying 17% of your income per month. This net out of $212.50 a year or $2,500 a year. Did you get that? Now, mind you, before I continue, what I heard floating around, I think Eric Williams covered this because someone gave the answer, that it was once almost $400 a month of child support, roughly average. Now it was cut down to roughly like almost $280. Now this is what I can remember verbatim. But let's continue. But mind you, this is something that's recently new that because they made some cutbacks on it, like slash because the economic situation. But more importantly, if we want to be honest, the average since 2010, and before I continue reading this and make sure Mary's still here. Oh, he dropped. All right, give me a second, Mary. You back? Hold on, give me a second. Let me just go through this. All right, he's back. But on the average, the latest statistics we have available coming from 2010, last decade, according to the Census Bureau report, the average monthly child support payment is $430. But again, this is just an average and should be used as a guideline to understand how much you'll be paying or should pay in child support. If you're interested in finding out the support of payments, you should be please use our child support calculator. And for more information on how you can be better understanding child support law and regulations in the states, visit the state resource. Let me let Amir continue. I just want to share that. If y'all want that link, let me know in the chat room. All right, floor to Amir. And that's only one link I was able to find. Unfortunately. Hold on. $80. Yeah, I think that's what I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Like 3 minutes. I'm gonna be right back.
All right, he's gonna find it. Yeah, I think that's $8 a week, Faith. Is that right? Let me know on Faith. That's right, $8 a week. I think they said one time was $75 a week. But like I said, the calculator and adjustment really varies. But this is what it stands right now. It's roughly now $280 a month. So when we look at $430 for the last 10 years to possibly this now, it looks to me like men are getting off easy on child support. Now, mind, this is what it was written as the report, which if y'all want, I'll drop it in the chat room for y'all to look at this. This is the calculator. But when they talk about, when we say that child support is actually probably tearing your ass up, it could be possibly true. Now, this depends on how many kids you have. Now, if these dudes have more than one kid, I could see it's possibly, it might be tearing your ass up. I don't have these problems, probably. Okay, good. Thank you. But really, truly, I don't have these problems, but I understand the frustration. A lot of dudes, they really don't want to pay their baby mama nothing. If you're not with him, you don't get nothing. It sounds good in the real world, but we all know in the real world, or in the make-believe world, you want to call it, that's not logic. You know, the laws were put in for a reason. I mean, I remember one time I had some old document files, even then going into history about child support personally. And let's be honest, this was designed by the white man to punish other white men until we got further integrated into the system for the last 57 years now. And then, you know, there was some more rules, regulations put in place during the 90s, during the Clinton administration, in regards to how women were going to be entitled to certain things because they were getting free stuff. By, you know, with the child support or whatever you want to call it. So the issue with child support now, it looks like it's been a bigger problem now for the last 32 years or 30 years. For every year when Clinton started to put things in act, it started to really take shape on how a lot of men move out here in the streets. These streets, personally. And these streets are very wicked if you're not careful. It can be dirty. You want to keep yourself clean, dudes, out here, you know. Can't be spilling your seed all over the place. Oh, you need one? Oh, you know, I got you. The EBT. You know, some people need EBTs, you feel me?
Okay, I'm back.
All right. Was you able to find it?
Yeah. I want to read this because like that's what that's why I keep bringing it back to a biblical thing, because whether you want to believe that the Bible is dribble or man-made garbage or whatever, there's wisdom in it. Now, check this out. I want to read this.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because if my brothers would have been reading this when they was 16, 17, 18, 19, instead of listening to fucking Lil Boosie and shit, a lot of my brothers wouldn't be in a predicament they're in now. You know what I'm saying? So this is Isaiah chapter 3. And I'm going to start at verse 9, right? It says, the show of their countenance doeth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Man, I ain't turning down no coochie, man. Hide your wives, hide your girlfriends, no morals. That's what that's talking about. Say ye to the righteous that it should be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. So you're going to reap what you sow, right? It says, woe unto the wicked. It shall be ill with him for the.
Hello? Wait, what happened? Is that me? Hold on, guys. Amirir, your volume stopped. Hold on, make sure. That's not me. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. All right, go ahead.
Okay, did you hear what I read?
You paused for almost 30 seconds. Maybe a little
so
longer.
what was the last thing you heard?
Something about the wicked. I can't remember, something like that. I was listening for the pause.
I'm on my phone, man. I should have had my laptop in there. But anyway, all right, let me see.
Reread it so people get a clear understanding. Go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta turn my other phone on, because I think if I leave out of my Chrome browser, you ain't gonna be able to hear me. So I'm trying to turn my other phone on right quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it from that.
All right, cool. Wait.
You know what I'm saying? But like I was saying, if my brothers would have been in that book, in that Bible, instead of listening to goddamn T.I. and Jeezy and all in this gangster rap that the white man gave you, by the way, a lot of my brothers wouldn't be caught up in the shit they caught up in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Take some responsibility and accountability for how you chose to act and behave. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to hear that though. See what I'm saying, that's square, that's lame, that's cornball. But you the one getting tore up. You see what I'm saying? You the one who okay. I'm pulling it up right now. Let me see. Books of the Bible.
And here's one good comment. It said, "Come on, man. You know everybody's Egyptian now, but couldn't tell you the first law of God." Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
yeah.
Now check this out. I'm gonna reread it. Okay, now this is Isaiah chapter 3, verse 9. It says, "The show of their countenance doeth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves." So, for example, I ain't turning down no pussy nigga shit. Fuck that, man. I mean, I gotta get mine, man. Hide your wives, hide your girlfriends. What it's talking about is they don't have no morals, no moral compass. See, in the day, they think it's the women who are immoral, but not them. They think morals are for women. It's not for a man to walk. It's not masculine to have morals. That's what these niggas think. Now let's keep reading. He says, "Say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings." See that? So if you sow righteousness, you're gonna reap righteousness. The righteous ain't got them problems. Then it goes on, "Woe unto the wicked. It shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them." Don't that sound familiar? That sound like the gynocracy to me.
Repeat that again. Sorry, I had to take some. Repeat that again.
It says, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them." Sound familiar? Black men, and it's a black man on the bottom. The gynocracy. Oh, the gynocracy for the love of God. Child support. Oh, the gynocracy and these women running me. And see what I'm saying? But why though? Why are you in that position? Why child support tearing you up? Why this woman got the upper hand on you? Why your woman won't submit? Why your women loose? Why? That's what I'm talking about. I ain't saying the critiques are wrong. What I want to get to is the why. But they don't want to get to the why because we know why. Because they ain't no better than you. They moving just like you. That's why. So you reaping what you sowed. That's why I was telling you, like, how you get this modern incarnation of child support where the men would just get up and leave. That's why you got the child support on your neck right now. but it come against the Bible. And that's what I'm telling you. They're not coming against the Bible because they woke or they want to be as accurate as possible or because the white man gave it to them. They coming against the Bible because it condemns your fucking actions when you're doing fucked up shit. Because many of our people like, that's what I'm telling you. I don't want to hear about no white man being the devil. Because when I look around, the devil that I got to be worried about look just like me, talk like me, walk like me, come from my same culture, same community. They'll sit here like how they be doing, brother. Like, you got a lot of dudes right now asleep with your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Same nigga.
Mm-hmm. And smile in your face after
yeah,
you right.
Go brag about it. But then got to never talk about Black Lives Matter and how they for the destruction of the nuclear family. As if you're gonna have stable nuclear families with you running around sleeping with dudes' wives. You fucking hypocrite. But I'm the one flip-flopping. So that's why they got a problem with it. Like I told you, it's just like Polite made his bread and butter for like coming against the Bible, the gospel of Christ, whoop-de-woo, whatever it is. But and all that for in the end, for you to be stealing everything that ain't tied down, beating people out they goddamn money, running that New York game, and sleeping with little kids, sleeping with little girls. So if that's the reward for us being awakened from the falsehood that is the Bible and Christianity, you might as well have left the people where they was at. If that's what you're gonna reward them with, nigga. So that's the whole like they ain't got no morals, bro. They gonna do whatever. They gonna do whatever. And if you dare stand up and have some type of morals, they're gonna call you a simp. They're gonna try and say you gay. They're gonna try and say you a soy boy. All this other dumb shit they come up with. Matter of fact, while we at it, let me read something else. Like everything that's wrong with the society is the women, but it ain't you. Let me read something else right quick. Matter of fact. Then when the judgment come, now you ain't man enough to accept the judgment. See what I'm saying? Let me see. Damn. I think I got real rusty with this Bible.
You know, it's been a while and you had to stare.
What you want? Yeah. Let me see. Let me see here. But they'll spend all their time trying to discredit the Bible. Like, yeah, and then like you ain't saying that, I don't care. But I know it's wisdom contained in the goddamn book. Now check this out. And I think this is apt because we went with a religious tone anyway, right? Now check this out. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, right? Now let's read this.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good." He is sent. Russell Wilson, so corny. "Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away, for of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with divers lusts." Oh, polite, stupid. But you can't see that this nigga deranged. Like I was telling with the nature boy dude. Anybody with a half an ounce of discernment and intuition could see that this nigga is clearly fucking deranged. Mm-hmm. So running game. Now you tell me out of that what I just read, any of that today that's inaccurate. It's right and on point. So then when you look around and you see everything fucked up, what you expect? And he didn't start it with the women. He started with the goddamn this. If the men operating like this, what you expect from the women and the children? What you expect? And the thing about it for me is, it puts me at a disadvantage because now I gotta send my kids gotta be peers to your fucking kids, and you've been riding around with your kids all day, letting them listen to all this dumb nigga music. So now they infect. Cause I ain't let my kids listen to this bullshit. Mm-hmm. So all the shit that these niggas be doing, they infect their kids with it, and then their kids infect other people's kids who would like to keep their kids away from that. Mm-hmm. So this is how you get the culture you have today, where it's no morals. Nobody has any morals. Everybody all follow and play the leader and just saying whatever they think is gonna get likes and gonna make them fucking rich. Mm-hmm. But use terms like woke, brother, sister, hey brother, what's going on, brother? Hotep and Ashe and all this fake fucking form of godliness bullshit. But when you get down to the bare bones of it, those be the main ones doing the fucked up shit, bro. So tell me, you see what I'm saying? So that's why they got a problem with the book, man. Like anything the white man give you, you gonna reject. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I be like, you getting exactly what a lot of y'all niggas getting exactly what y'all deserve. You know what I'm saying? You're getting exactly what you deserve. That's what you sowed. So what you thought you was gonna reap. You made it like that's what I was saying. For years, we made it clear as men, we made it clear what we was interested in. And that was only one thing. So now when you have all these women catering to that and putting that out there, now all of a sudden, like nigga like Cam Newton, you a bad bitch, but can you cook? Now you want the women to be domesticated. But you ain't care about them being domesticated for 30, 40, 50 years. So the sisters ain't had that pattern. The young ladies haven't had that role model pattern from the household. You've been on some pimp and player and playboy shit and wanting to be a thug shit. That's what I'm telling you. If you establish like a curriculum and everything online, like like Mr. Lucario, the bad boy, the dating game, try and establish something for husbandry and see how many of these niggas going roll. But swear up and down they're entitled to a feminine, submissive woman. Like that's just the problem. If we just get that from the women, everything gonna be okay. But you getting exactly what you got because that's what you deserve. The workman is worthy of his hire. So if whatever it is in the universe that establishes any level of order and balance felt like you deserved it, you would have it. You're gonna get what you deserve. So you ain't gotta believe in the book because the principle is the same. We all get what we deserve. And that's what I be wanting these niggas to know. That's what I be wanting them to know. You're gonna get what you deserve anyway. You reap what you sow. You know what I'm saying? And then and wonder why the society is the way it is. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then when you have men like Russell Wilson, you could tell that's a good dude, man. When you look at like Will Smith, the man love his wife. What, he's supposed to hate her? He want to keep his family together. But then, like I'm telling you, well, they'll turn right around and call themselves black male advocates. How? When it's obvious and it's clear that any black man who doesn't share your experience or doesn't share your viewpoint, you have no interest in advocating for him. You only want to use him as fodder so you can feed red meat to the other bullshit ass niggas that's following the dumb shit you talking about. So stop lying, calling yourself a black male advocate. You're not. You're only advocating for your particular demographic of black men. You ain't speaking for black men. And this is something you see all the time. Pro-blacks do it. I'm pro-black when really what a lot of times their advocacy is only for the Taz variety of niggas. They don't care about working class and middle class blacks. They feel like those blacks are trying to be white. And how dare them wanting the American dream, wanting to go to schools that have good education, wanting to live in areas where it's not a lot of crime, where Pookie and Riri ain't acting a fucking fool. How dare they? They not really black. This is the authentic black experience. They ain't hood, they ain't real. See what I'm saying? They ain't got that thorough pedigree, that thorough passion. You know what I'm saying? But then we'll call themselves pro-black. You're lying. And this is what all of them do, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they make merchandise of niggas and play on niggas and play on our ignorance and our emotions. Like this shit is an emotion. And then it will, like, grandstand. I haven't lost any fucking debate. Like, you see what I'm saying? I'm right. It don't matter what I know I'm right. If you can't apply what you're saying practically day in and day out, it's dumb shit. It's dumb shit. It can sound good in theory all it want, but if you can't apply it, that's what you see going on, like with this leftist movement, like with what they're talking about with gender. See, because I understand the theory of gender identity, but that don't mean it's practical. That don't mean you can practically apply it. It sounds good as a theory in the halls of academia to be discussed, but to actually try and to apply it, how practical is the ideology? How practical is the philosophy? How practical is that? So now you have all this non-binary and all this other dumb shit that's causing more confusion than it's getting rid of. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if any of these things they felt weren't coming from a place of social engineering, and these things were just naturally occurring, why are you going above and beyond to socially engineer this result? Why are you going above and beyond to normalize it? You wouldn't have to if it was naturally occurring. You see, and even if you say, okay, well, these people are minorities, well then their representation should be minor. If you're a minority, you get minor representation. That's the way it go.
Mm-hmm.
You don't deserve to be seen in the same scope as hetero cisgendered people, or whatever they would call it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't deserve that, because those people are the majority. So it just stands to reason they should get the major representation. That's been our experience as black people. We're a minority group, so we get minor representation. We get minor representation in politics. We get minor representation in movies. We get minor representation in pop culture. We get minor representation in the workforce. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So
that's bullshit. And this is what I'm talking about within this modern climate of political correctness. The only person who I see who has the courage to speak the truth unabashedly and understand is me. I don't see nobody else doing it. Me, you, maybe a few others. But people, like, you see what I'm saying? A speaker of truth has no friends, man. A speaker of truth has no friends. You talk about the red pill all you want. You know what I'm saying? The principles of the universe remain the same. They're constant. They are immutable. You can't change it. You're gonna get what you deserve. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, we have that with us right now. Like I'm the one that's deluded. I'm just laughing, bro. That's why I be laughing, man.
Mm. But really truly, Mary, because it's kind of good you go for the Bible parts of it, and I'm not really a Bible thumper per se,
Yeah.
but it's always good to go into that book because there's certain parables, allegory, message that do affect us today. Rather from the Old Testament, and we could probably say the New Testament per se.
I mean, it's
You can learn some very valuable lessons.
yeah. Like you know what? One thing I would do every Saturday, I would have my 3 sons read 3 to 5 chapters out of the book of Proverbs, because the book of Proverbs is a book of wisdom specifically for young men, and it have a like, you know, it has a lot of wisdom in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, you know, it talks about how foolish is the man that goes into a strange woman's house, who tells him her husband is away and won't be back for a long time. So now, you know, you got to, oh, shit, I ain't turned down no cool shit. I was in that nigga house, and then when the man come home and shoot the fuck out you, now you see what I'm saying? You ain't no victim.
Mm-hmm.
What you thought was gonna happen, like that? I just saw that case of guy, some military dude. You know, his wife in there doing what she doing, and came home and killed the dude. Now you done died in your fucking folly.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you just understand the risk you're taking. You know, that's so it's wisdom in that. It's wisdom and within the Bible, man. That, you know, like, because like they say, there's nothing new under the sun. This shit ain't new. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing new under the sun, man.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Yeah, like I just saying, dude, talking about black women hate correction. And you know, that's I mean, we all do, I think. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I talk about, you know, having the moral authority to actually be able to correct somebody. Tyrese. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, you read that, like I would read that Proverbs. You know, it's about the, you know, not being able to control your temper. You know, it talks about, you know, having what the effect, the consequences of having a poor work ethic. It talks about, you know, avoiding a brawling and contentious woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all that, like, it's a lot of information in that book that can actually help you even today. Whoever wrote it, whoever can, wisdom is wisdom. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of brothers get caught up doing wickedness, then won't play victim when it's judgment time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Joshua said, "Why does the responsibility fall back on women if we're supposed to be such alpha men and patriarchs?" I mean, I agree with that, but the woman does hold some level of responsibility too. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you know, many of the gripes that brothers have ain't legitimate. I don't want to say that. I'm just saying, you know, if there is to be any social, moral, ethical, where we are, and revive, then that's something that starts with the men. Men have to make the first step, have to set the example. You see what I'm saying? Like because at the end of the day, like, I understand this, I only have control over what I have control over. And ultimately, the only thing I really have control over is myself. I can't make people like that's why the Lord said, remember Lot's wife. Lot did what he could do to get his wife out of harm's way when Sodom and Gomorrah was being destroyed, but she still was turned to a pillar of salt because she chose to look back. But Lot still had to keep going. And so, as you know, you find yourself in that predicament, you know, often. She said, "What do you think about pump and dump? The idea to pump and dump women who aren't marriage material?" I'm not gonna fault a man for you know, putting a woman in a certain category. You know what I mean? Like if
the side chick. Why do you think the importance of the side chick plays a role? Just like the side dude, Queen Virtue. Everybody has their purpose, unfortunately.
Yes,
Not everybody is marriage material, as you know.
I'm not gonna be like, if she ain't married to you, you shouldn't be sleeping with her. Like I ain't. Nah, I mean, come on. Like I understand dudes have needs and want to get their right. I'm just gonna tell them, you better not get them pregnant. You know what I'm saying?
That's the only calamity. This you're gonna be pregnant. You're gonna be knocking these chicks up. I don't care how strong your pull-out game is. So these women are not wed. They won't mind taking your essence and make a child that, and say, hey.
Look what Joshua said. I understand women hold responsibility, but my thing as men, we can't blame everything on one gender and claim to be the leader. Part of being a leader is being accountable mistakes of others. Yeah, that's true too. Like, and that I talked about that, like leadership. Like, speaking of which, did you see that clip with Shaq and that guy Channing Tatum? I think his name is Chaos.
No, I saw the clip on social media. I don't know who that guy is. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, but you see how Shaq just took the responsibility. Now Shaq know his wife was doing bullshit, but he ain't gonna put his wife out there like that. Like, you don't get points as a man by throwing your wife under the bus. That makes you look worse. That portrays you in a worse light than in a positive light. Like, internally, we'll have that discussion. We'll have the argument about it in the discussion about it, and I'm gonna tell you about it and check you on it. But in public, my wife is perfect. If it's any issues that we having, that it's my fault. That's gonna be my answer publicly. You see what I'm saying? You don't, throwing your wife under the bus doesn't make you look better. It makes you look worse.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you don't understand. That's like I was debating today. Asian women and Native American women and Latino women is this, that. How you know? How these niggas know what women are? Nah, what it is those dudes ain't going around throwing their fucking women under the bus. Because if you go around telling everybody how you don't have control over your woman, that reflect on you. That people gonna look at you. It's gonna reflect on you a certain type of way. And like I told you, Kaz, that's when I was giving them niggas that tongue lashing with MOT, everything they put on black women, everybody else puts on them. So if you want to say the black woman is irresponsible and wanton, that's what everybody believe about you as a group of men. Mm-hmm. If you want to say the black woman is violent and obstinate, and that's what everybody believe about you as a group of men. So whatever you put on the woman, it's gonna get put on you. So you never, it never plays well when you do that. So that's why these niggas think, there you go right there. You can come up, keep it 100. That's why these niggas think that these men ain't having issues with their women of their respective culture and races, because the men don't go around throwing their women under the bus thinking that's gonna repair their image. Black men are not gonna repair their fucking image running around throwing black women under the bus. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. It makes you look petty. It makes you look fucking weak. Running around telling everybody how you don't have control over your own woman.
Oh, that's a good question, Queen Virtue. That could work. Yeah, nothing's wrong with the concubine. We'll keep that in mind.
They don't have concubine money. See what I'm saying? Because they know because even if you have a woman as a concubine, you still gonna end up building a rapport with that woman, and that woman gonna have financial needs. See what it is? A lot of times, it's not the women that's the concubine; it's the dudes. See, you gotta understand about a concubine. Concubines are exclusive to the king.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a king is not going to share his concubine. You got to understand, a king is royal. That's royalty. And a common man is not going to sleep with the woman of a royal man. See what I'm saying? So, like, if you want to talk about Solomon or you want to talk about King David, they wasn't in these women who were their concubine sexual rotation. The women were exclusive to them. So these niggas ain't got concubine money. It's not the women that's the concubine, it's them. They in the woman rotation. The woman might have 2 or 3 dudes that she rotating, and they just getting in where they fitting in. That's what I'm saying. But to make themselves, to make it try and seem masculine, like they're getting something out of it, they want to call a woman a concubine when really they're the concubine. If the woman isn't exclusive to you, she's not your concubine.
All right, what's this? Hold on. Oh, that's the wrong one. What's this? You can hit my show, bro. You
come up right here, right now, or you stop commenting in the comment section. See what y'all want to do. Y'all want to have debates where you can have your little cheerleaders and where you have home field advantage. You come up right here. This is not my channel.
Yeah.
So you come up right here.
Now, you know, keep 100. This is more of a neutral channel. I don't pick sides. If
he ain't gonna pick sides. And then what they gonna do? Oh, see, I won. Lying. That's what I'm saying. Grandstanding, but none of that grandstanding gonna change the objective reality. So it's the reason why they on Facebook and YouTube all day whining and complaining. But ask them, is that whining or complaining changing anything? No, it's not. So the objective reality gonna stay the same. What I'm saying, right? Like what I just broke down about the concubine thing. The women aren't the concubine, they the concubine. It's the reason why you got like the Mr. Locario dude. You got dudes spending money hand over fist to learn how to get in these women sexual rotation. You don't see women doing that. They ain't got to do that. Because these niggas are the ones that they the concubine. So that's why they want to pump and dump, because they know if they keep the woman around, they're gonna have to start putting out money. So even when a man was having a woman, a king was having a woman as his concubine, he still was fiscally responsible for the woman well-being and upkeep. He the regular common man wasn't smashing his concubine. The concubine was still exclusive to him and only him. So if you royal and you a king, why you gonna go lay behind a common man? Explain that. So that's them wanting to, like I said, wanting to try and make it seem masculine, just like that, like how they really be having threesomes with other dudes and stuff. And they call it running the train to try and make it sound better, when really what it is you having a threesome with a dude. all that's the psychological programming they employ for a lot of the feminine stuff they're doing to make it seem masculine. Because I don't see nowhere in nature where the alpha male is going to be sharing. Alpha males don't share, but y'all do though. Y'all do when you work your way in and got to get in where you fit in. But then wonder why the woman ruling over you, because you ain't got no morals. That's why. They ain't got no morals. Shit, so long as I'm getting mine.
All right, we have one person. I'm gonna bring her up.
Okay.
Hello, Chart. How you doing, Chart? Charlie, can you hear me?
Pump and dump these witches. You know, you like that song.
These hoes.
Hello, how you doing?
I know. Welcome to the Chaos Reign channel. For the first time, Charlie, what brings you to my establishment?
Child, I had so many questions. Shoot, I don't remember them. It took so long to get this damn link. Let's see if I can scroll back. Let's see. Nope. Can't. Oh, yes, I do. Okay. Percentage. All right. So, Miri, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
All right. When you were speaking, I was wondering, did you have an average percentage of the income a man has to use for child support?
I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think it has to be reasonable. That's why I said when I was listening to the show that show that we were talking, me and Cass was discussing earlier. I'm not gonna say that they weren't raising some valid points, like because you do have like these uber successful men who are paying like 40,000 and 50,000 a month in child. Come on, like that's excessive. I think it should be within reason. I don't have a predetermined percentage of income, but just just something within reason. But Chaos, didn't you have like some statistics on what the average child support payment
Well, this is
was?
the first thing that pulled up because I'm trying to find the update version of it. Let me share my screen one more time. And I should ask you in the chat room, Char, but I'm not sure what you were doing if you were too busy to look it up for yourself. But this is what I got from this site, Support Pay. What is the average child support payment? And what is said here is like roughly for the last decade was $430.
Okay.
Child support payment is, and mind you, it's the adjustment and all that stuff, all the other add-on. But really, this is the average right now. Well, it actually was once the average. It's now like $280, and that was from Erica Williams' show like months ago. So,
okay, so this is this has become an issue for men for the amount that they have to give toward the support of their children.
Yeah, and this is possibly for probably one child, plus potentially, or it could be maybe more. But this is what they said on the average. So we always got to keep in mind it could be for one child or multiple childs. So, and what I'm hearing, it varies from state to state, which that also a factor. But when I pull up this, they said this is what is calculated.
Okay.
So yeah. So it's not really. I mean, $399 to $430. That sound like something, but that's off easy. Depend if you're working and depending what you're doing, what you work, how much you make an hour. Yeah, you might not have nothing to bring back, especially depending on one job.
Okay,
maybe.
So it's like a car note, in other words, but
yeah, exactly. That's what it is. I think it's more. It might be insurance if people pay insurance.
Okay.
Car insurance. Yeah.
All right, so that's interesting. I've heard a lot of complaints about it, but I never really got a direct answer for average. I got roundabouts that, well, it's too much or it depends, but that's it. I never really got a number. But okay, thank you for that. Let's see what else you mentioned.
And I'm hoping that you do more for research. That way we're accurate, because I just Googled this what popped up, and I didn't make the time to really look into it, because when I heard floating through the internet that it was cut down since this year, so it was cut down. That means the average last year and the decade that just passed us was roughly over $400.
Okay.
So,
well, if I do a show, I'm definitely going to do the research, so that's not a problem.
Okay.
Let's see what else Amiri mentioned. Access. We mentioned that men are happy with their penis and they have access and they're just going to use it. Well, testosterone is a hell of a drug, and the consequences, as you mentioned, well, they are what they are, and goes to my third thing that I wrote, which was blame. And you mentioned that they blame the woman for that. What are some of the blames that you're hearing? Because I'm reading the chat room in different places that the woman knows when the condom is not on. She has an opportunity to not keep the child. It was always put on her. Is that what you're hearing too?
Yeah, that's weakness coming from a lot of these dudes complaining. Like, why do you think it's the woman's responsibility to protect you from unwanted fatherhood? Explain that. But then swear up and down that they want to lead. I'm out here. We need fit, feminine, submissive women so we can lead. You don't even want to lead yourself. You don't even want to lead yourself into avoiding a fiscal liability, because that's how they viewing it, like it's a fiscal liability. See, that's what I'm saying. The whole child support system makes it hard for these dudes to have their cake and eat it too. Because once upon a time in a society, that's what men were able to do. there was a double standard rampant throughout society where men could have their cake and eat it too. I mean, anytime Kevin Samuels sit up there and talk about claim to be a Christian, but talks about a married man exercising options and trying to rationalize the woman's stand, that's what men was able to do at once upon a time in a society. But then when they changed the laws, they made it where women weren't financially constrained. Women could have bank accounts, women could get a career, women could get education, women could get housing, because once upon a time where women weren't able to buy houses, so it freed women up to where women ain't got to put up with your crap. So if you out here acting bad and doing stuff you don't have no business, the woman is not in a financial situation where she has to just accept it and tolerate it. And this is the argument that they're presenting. See, back then everything was hunky dory and fine because look how long the marriages were lasting. But the marriages were lasting that long because the women couldn't leave.
And
see,
I look at the options as well. I mean, with everything, the more options you have, the more freedom you have. So there you go.
Right. Exactly. So you don't see them operating with a real ethic like the Bible teaches, where it teaches that as a husband, you love your wife as yourself. And so if you love your wife as yourself, why would you think it's fair to do to her what you don't want her to do to you? But then when you do it to her and she leave, the women file for the divorces. So you see how they're fucking hypocrites. And this is why I come against the stuff that they're saying, because I know why they're saying it. They want to be able to do whatever they want and don't want to have any consequences because they're not man enough to suffer the consequences for their actions.
You know, I found that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Now go ahead.
I found that very interesting. That is a talking point that is used a lot as far as women are the ones that file for divorce. Well, if she is not the abuser, if she is getting the whatever you would like to say, short end of the stick, not feeling safe and secure, or whatever the situation would be, why would she not be the one to file? If he's comfortable with how he's running a household, however good or bad that is, why would he?
Right.
So why is that a problem? So if the man would file for divorce, does that means everything is fine now? Does that change anything?
Well, really implicit in what they're saying is under no circumstances should the woman be allowed to file for divorce. Oh. That's really what they're saying.
Wow, don't leave me regardless. Whatever I do and say and treat you, you can't leave.
It's only when the woman responds to whatever the man may or may not be doing that's adverse to the family. It's only her response that's broken up the family. It's never his actions. Wow. And that's how it used to be. So when you see him presenting these arguments about feminism, about the welfare state, about like gynocracy, that's really what they're saying, because they feel like all those things gave women the incentive in the mindset to leave a man who's on some bullshit. So now you have it now where the system calls for a man to be more judicial and honest and forthcoming with how he's operating in the household, because if he doesn't, he can face strict severe consequences, lose his career, have his income garnished, child support, yada yada yada. See, it's only unfair when it's happening to them, but when the shoe was on the other foot, they didn't feel like it was unfair. That's just the way it is. This is patriarchy. This is natural, and this is nature. But like I explained, the universe is geared towards balance. So if you push a pendulum in one direction too far, it's going to swing back in the other direction just as far. So this is why you have what we have now in terms of the laws and the things that's on the book. When if you as men had operated with a sense of justice and morality and love and ethicalness from the beginning, you wouldn't be dealing with what you're dealing with now. Like these people, like the women just came up with this out of nowhere.
Okay. I have two more things. I'm going to leave the religious part that you mentioned. I'm going to leave that for last.
Okay.
But the other thing I wrote is the word modern. I'm hearing that first used as a way of not saying black women. It seemed like it has evolved to just saying today's women. Is that what you're picking up? Because I'm not understanding this word modern all of a sudden.
Yeah, yeah, like just it's modernity. Like we live in a postmodern society. See, like the way we live and the way we view families has really changed because of the modernization. Like even the nuclear family model was something that came up in the modern era. See, prior to the 60s and the 70s, we didn't have nuclear families. We had extended nuclear families where it would be grandmom, granddad, the parents, and the children living in one household. We understood that it was incumbent on the children to take care of the parents in their twilight years. You see, but now because of all of these technological advancements that's given us this modern era, like automobiles, like microwaves, like vacuum cleaners, like telecommunications, all these things that give us the modern amenities of today's living standards. A person can be 70 years old and live by themselves. You have Life Alert. I've fallen and can't get up. Remember that?
Right.
So those things has made it easier for us to be individualistic. So when you see him talking about, well, go ahead.
With that example you just used, so is that 70-year-old a modern woman?
Well, I'm not saying that they're modern women. What I'm saying is the technology has made us more individualistic. So many times when you see like brothers using the term modern as modern women, the women are more individualistic. So, for example, the idea of my body, my choice, even though as a woman I'm pregnant, my rights as a mother supersede the rights of the children of this child and of the father. So I'm going to abort it because it's not in my best interest as a woman. The individualistic mindset, like that's something that has accompanied the modern era because of the modern technologies and advancements that we enjoy today. That's really what they mean. Like the women aren't community minded, and there's a lot of truth to that, but the men aren't either. None of us are. See, they taught that the messaging that was peddled to sisters were be a strong, independent black woman, and the messaging that was peddled to the men were be a rugged individual. Rugged individualism. This is why you have many brothers who don't see any level of social responsibility to kind of guide children that aren't theirs, even though those children that aren't yours are still going to be the peers of your children. So you have a vested interest in the direction of a child that's not yours. Because who do you think is going to be applying the pressure to your child? It's peer pressure. So
that's true. You're right there.
Connected. But they'll in this whole thing of I'm a rugged individual, they'll like throw that off. But like as I just stated, the objective reality is indifferent to your notion of individualism. Individualism is a social construct.
Okay. Yeah, the way it's used, I'm like, okay, they keep using the term modern. I'm like, what other woman or man is there? I mean, these are the people that you're interested in. So why you just keep saying modern, modern, modern? But when I first heard of it, like I said, it was to keep from saying black woman because of the YouTube was saying, hey, you're going against the protected group, we're gonna have to look at this YouTube channel a little bit differently. So they started switching up the language in order to be able to say, a few things they wanted to say. So
that's true too. Like it's code language. It's code. It's a coded term. Like let's make no mistake about it. Much of their ire is geared at women, at black women and black women exclusively. Like I made that point last night because they'll talk about how, they'll claim to be masculinists, but they'll talk about how they make more than black women, but it doesn't bother them that they make less than white women or less than Asian women. That doesn't bother them. So then how are you a masculinist then? What it is you're using gender as a smokescreen for your views about black women exclusively, because much of it is steeped in race. They don't have a problem with the fact that they make less than white women. That's irrelevant to them.
Mm.
That's irrelevant.
Wow.
They're totally fine with the fact that they make less than white women, but will call themselves a masculinist.
Mm. Okay, that I hadn't heard of, but okay.
Yeah.
And the last thing you had just mentioned about religion,
Mhm.
and I do get you have an option of choosing whatever that is or not at all.
Right.
But one thing's for certain, you're gonna have to follow some type of code of conduct, whatever
Exactly.
that is, in order to kind of live in this on this land. That's for
Mhm.
certain. So
Yeah.
whatever you subscribe to, subscribe to it and do whatever you're gonna do. But
Mhm.
this walking, I don't know, is it straddling the fence when it
Mhm.
suits you? People can see through that.
Yeah.
And
It's
but I understand what you're saying.
yeah. It's nihilism. It's nihilism. And matter of fact, one of the most prominent atheists, I forget his name, who did challenged a lot of religious ideologies and doctrines. One of the things that troubled him about actually coming against religion or dismantling religion as we understand it is this rise of nihilism. And that's what you're faced with today, where we have this thing where nothing matters. We don't have any moral code of conduct. People will just do whatever. And this is what you see happening on social media. Like, on social media is giving rise to a generation of sociopaths. Like, what
Yeah.
you see like how they what like how they use people like Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, and will use these people as fodder for whatever YouTube channel or platform they're trying to build for themselves, and have no conscience about it, and see no social responsibility in how they need in the type of rhetoric they need to be using when talking about these people, forgetting that these people are human beings with family members and have children. They don't even think they should moderate how they talk for people children. Like, you look at Kevin Samuels rose to prominence because he brought a black woman on his show and humiliated her in front of the world, but never thought about that this woman has children. This woman has a mother and a father. This woman has brothers. You see, so the
Hmm.
sense of empathy that we used to have, or that religion would cause us to have, we don't have. The sociopaths. They'll
Yeah.
they'll like they'll levy any charge. You see it all the time on social media. Like, you look at
Yeah.
Tasha K, where she just got sued for defaming Cardi B, claiming this woman had a STD.
Yeah, $4 million.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you see, and so this is what social media is doing. This is what uh the waning of religion is doing in Western society and American society. And this is something that's written about in the book, the protocols of the learned elders of Zion.
Hmm.
They talked about how they were going to destroy Islam and Christianity and these major religions, and give rise to nihilism. You see it playing out.
Oh yeah.
The social media, and look, the whistleblower came out. The whistleblower came out and said exactly what the agenda was, and we still do it. We still consume it. We still take on the poison. How these algorithms are set up to engender these polarizing attitudes and this
Mhm.
vitriol to cause division. The whistleblower came out, and we still do it. And do we think that that agenda is there for no reason, or is it part of a more sinister and nefarious plan and form of social engineering coming from the elite who have an agenda?
Yeah,
But
there's
we still
definitely
fall.
agenda.
Yeah, it's an agenda. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So, and then that's why I talked about the problem that we really have with the many of them really have with religion or with the Bible, because there's a moral code in the Bible. There's rules in the Bible. And if you don't follow those rules and you break those rules, there's a consequence. So that's why many of them really have a problem. But like I said, Polite was
Hmm.
able to put himself in a certain socioeconomic bracket, peddling that to black people.
Hmm.
turn around and victimize those same black people. So you might as well keep under the yoke of Christianity if that's what you're going to do. If you're going to swindle people out of hundreds of thousands of dollars at a time, and if you're going to run around raping girls, you might as well. They were better off believing in Jesus than believing in you. That's what I want to know. Black people are better off believing in Jesus than believing in these frauds.
Ooh, yeah, the building fund, I tell you, it's always needed to be filled.
Yeah.
And then they come around with this. They come around with a form of godliness. What's up, brother? Peace, sister. My beautiful sisters.
My newbie queen.
Looking to get over and to make merchandise of the people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's unfortunate. And we have many of a YouTube pastors. I mean, that's the new thing here. Unfortunately.
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, everybody's a guru. Everybody has the answers to life's difficult questions. You know what I mean? It's a hustle, man. It's a hustle. You know, and so it ain't hard to see where we're going to be 10, 15, 20 years down the road. And that's always the meat of part of my messaging is the time for it, when we're at the times and points as black men when we should be taking the moral stance and taking the principal positions. We don't. We want to do it after the fact. Like, so for example, you see I'm talking about quote unquote whorehouse culture and thought culture, talking about it after the fact. But when it was at its inception in the 90s and in the late 80s, coming with the 2 Live crew and everything like that, you was all in it. You was the one peddling it. So if your sisters today are demoralized and don't have any morals and are sexually wanton, how do you think they got like that?
Yeah.
So now you can't unring a bell. And once you open Pandora's box, you can't close it. So now it's out of control now. So this is why every time you run into a sister, it's hard for you to find a sister that don't have a child. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah. So true.
Yeah, but to sit and complain, that's why I'm like, you getting exactly what you deserve. We getting what we deserve.
Yeah, we're definitely reaping what we sow.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to come up. I got my questions answered.
Yes.
And carry on, gentlemen. Carry on.
You have a good one.
All right, you too. Good night.
Yeah, just Char, man. I got questions. I like that end title, you know, and you're gonna ask many more questions. I'm gonna see you on your next channel, Char.
All right. See you soon. Good night.
Take care. That was wonderful. And like I said, links in the chat room, guys, if you don't want to come up. Yeah, but that was very good. I like the questions Char asked. Very reasonable. Yeah. Yeah,
and you notice, like I don't like, I'm able to defend what I'm saying. Like, whether you agree with it or not, I believe what I'm saying is right. Like, see, me, I'm not gonna argue from a position of being incorrect or being wrong, but they will. So they'll grandstand and they'll pretend and they'll deflect and they'll create straw men. I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna have the discussion, and whatever my viewpoint is, I'm gonna lay it out and I'm gonna put up my arguments that I feel like defending. If you ask me questions, I'm gonna answer those questions to the best of my ability. And if you can debunk what I'm saying, or if you can refute what I'm saying, then have at it. But they're not going to do that, because, like I told you, this is what I realized about YouTube, that it wasn't about none of that for these people. Like you look at Cynthia was going around talking about, you know, this thing with black men, like she for black men like you. So you lied. You really wasn't about that. You just wanted to have content so you could keep your money coming in.
Yeah, that's how it is.
I get that to a certain extent, but with what you're peddling, what are you doing to the people? What are you doing to the community while you're doing that? This is a new type of crack. This is the new crack era. And social media crack. And you have everybody engaging in it and not foreseeing what are going to be the lasting effects of it. Only thinking about the here and now, just like they were doing during the crack era. Just like they were doing in the crack era, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when we reap the consequences of that, it's gonna be because of what we deserve.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we do, man. When in the time when it's in the heat of the battle, in the moment when it's time to make the principal positions and the moral stances, we don't. We do what's convenient and we serve our pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
And then want to litigate it and talk about it after the fact. It's too late. Too late, man.
But one thing, really truly, what a lot of people don't understand is that because time is amongst us, there are things that we could do to correct it, but it's how you're willing to make the initiative to make the change. And I think most people don't have the emphasis because a lot of Negroes today and people generally, it shows their comfortability. Times they complain about the gas prices and things like inflation, and it tells me, is that what it takes to get you out your comfort zone? Because you don't have much money, or is something much deeper? That's a question people should ask themselves. You know, because economies always fluctuate throughout society.
Yeah.
There's not one time in human existence that you're going to always have a perfect turn every decade. No, that's not how world works. That's how now civilization or uncivilization or anything in regards to how we live in today. That's how life really goes. You're going to have your downturns and maybe you're going to have some of your upturns. It's how you're able to weather the storm from either side. And what I found with human pathology, psychology, we cannot handle the tough times. We have been very much broken and weakened. We're not like the 4-4 parents that had it worse. And they managed to try and make it. Us in the modern era, we have become very pacified and very weak.
Yeah.
And this is the first almost 6 years of now being so-called an American social order. So what's the projection in the next 40 or some more years? You get me? But go ahead,
it's the whole politically correct thing. That's what I'm saying. You know, where we gotta placate the people's feelings. And you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, because I mean there is a subjective nature to truth, but we have to be willing to say whatever we believe the truth is. And it doesn't mean being intentionally abrasive, intentionally offensive, but just speaking truth to power. See, it's like, because you hear that a lot. Speaking truth to the power, speak truth to the. But it's more of a task to speak truth to the powerless, to tell the powerless the things they need to hear, not what they want to hear. That's a harder task. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's very difficult. But like I said, as I look at it, that when we talk about this support system, it will hurt you as a man, depending if you're not on your purpose and doing what's necessary. I mean, and one thing I find interesting, Mary, when I hear issues about when dudes complain about child support, either paying it or not. And let's me wonder, are you have a really good, strong relationship with this woman that you knocked up or you blow her back out to really have this conversation? Because if paying her because you and her either together or some little friction, it seemed to me that you really didn't want nothing to do with the pussy at the start.
Right.
It's like, it was good to the point where you didn't have the discipline. So you're going to be releasing your essence. And then a couple months later, baby is going to be developing. And here's my thing. You can tell the relationship of a person, man and woman, is when baby is put into play. Everything changed when that baby is in that belly and coming out. And that tells you that's where you stand as either a couple in a short term, long term, or in a marriage, because things really does change drastically. Because now you have to defend, and provide and do something more than you ever done. Matter of fact, you have to be more selfish. And I think a lot of men today in the 21st century, I don't see much talk about selfishness. And one thing the Godfather did tell you, Ned, you dudes, you're mostly selfless. I think that's what reason. And a lot of them don't get it. Understand? It's something more than just you.
Yeah.
And that's what separates you from other men. Unfortunately.
Right.
Don't say you should be giving everything to cow, but you should be selfish from time to time. And I think there's not enough of that. So if you're not in that direction, playing this so-called sex game in America with your phallus, you're playing a deadly game, which you're gonna lose.
Yeah, you're playing Russian roulette. You know what I'm saying? Then when Pop goes to weasel, and now it's baby time and child support time, and now you want to sit here and whine. Oh, Queen of Virtue finna come up?
Wait, hold on. Let me check the link. Give me a second. I don't know. Let me check in. I got you. Let me see. All right. Try now. If you may, my dear. It should work now. Make sure. Yeah, that's the link. That's the official link. Keep talking. Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, I was saying, yeah, when Pop goes to weasel, when it's baby time and child support time, now all of a sudden they whining, they crying for help, baby. I was saying they crying for help. Like be man enough to accept the consequences of your actions, man. I mean, I know what I'm saying is harsh, man. I mean, I know it sounds harsh, but that's what I don't do a lot of complaining about my own situation. My life not perfect. I have problems. We all have problems.
Yeah, my life is that splendid.
Yeah, I don't complain, man. If I make my bed, then I lay in it and I resign myself to those things I can't control, that I'm not in control of. I can control. I do my best to control it and make the right types of decisions. So it's not like I'm not a heterosexual virile black man who don't like sex. Listen, I don't have kids all over the place, and it's the reason why I ain't got kids out of wedlock and stuff like that. You got to make those decisions and those determinations. You got to make those. You got to be prepared to make those sacrifices. And if you don't make those sacrifices, and you find yourself in a untoward predicament, then you got to accept the consequences that come with it. That's just how it goes. He's under the bus and talking all this. That ain't gonna change nothing, man. Like I said, that doesn't play well. For you to be running around throwing the woman you was laid up with under the bus, and she can be saying whatever about you, but people are just going to be more sympathetic to a woman than they are a man. That's just how it goes. Women can get away with that, women can get away with that more than men can. That's why you see these women ain't being investigated by the CIA and FBI, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Don't switch up. Y'all keep that same energy now that the FBI and the CIA on y'all bumper. Keep that same goddamn energy. You know what I'm saying? Y'all telling everybody else simps and soy boys, so be masculine now.
A side note, Free Avenger, as in a website that was developed, which Old Man was trying to push back in 2019, they're having a serious reconstruction because of the events. And my biggest issue with them is personally, if you dare in the studio, just turn your camera for a minute and just wave so I can see it was you. Just for a brief second so I can see before I let anybody up. the funny thing about this is that some people that support it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That now they had to regret even support, because when you look at the content alone, it lets me say, wait, you guys come on the site that you have to pay monthly and you put out this content, it tells you got something wrong with you mentally. For real.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. My thing is, black men should always be brave and stand firm in decision make and not regret it. Because when you say you have doubt, that tells me you're not certain and sure of yourself personally.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see that. I want them to be strong and brave in any decision they make, in my opinion. But go on, man. I'm just gotta handle some. Let's talk.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, no, you're right. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I got the AC on. It's getting cold in here, but yeah, you got to be prepared for those eventualities. And like I said, I do know, I do understand how it can be a burden. I'm not gonna sit here and act like you don't have some brothers who get a rough deal, and especially like dudes who were married and then got divorced or whatever the case is. I understand that can be a problem. But the majority of these dudes complaining, man, from my vantage point, these are dudes complaining because because they was out there doing their thing, and pop goes the weasel. They got caught up. So now they playing victim, and they mad at the world. But you got to take accountability. I mean, it is what it is. That's just the way it go. That's the way it go, baby. Smoke dog, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way it go, man.
That's how it goes, man.
I gotta adjust this AC, man. It's cold in here. Hold on.
You're cold? All right. Hold on. Okay. Let me see. As everybody, make sure I hit the like button, please, guys. Share the stream. Okay. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. All right. All right. Chanel, you can still hear me from the bottom? I'm probably going to pull you up.
Man, it's cold in here, man.
All right, we'll do this.
Put a sweater on up in this motherfucker. I like to sleep. Oh, I can't sleep in no heat, yeah.
Yeah. Chanel, you there?
Ooh. Oh man.
Yes. I let you up, Chanel. You can open your mic. Hello. Okay. You're not ready yet, Chanel? Want to put you back down? Right, as she adjusts this, let's continue. Besides that, really and truly, like I said, it does hurt them, but it is black man's own fault if he decides to put himself in that direction, especially if he's not gonna marry the woman that he decided to knock up, in my opinion. But anyway. All right, so you unmute yourself. Can you hear me, Chanel? Shalom?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Yes. For the very first time ever. And I'm hoping this is the first time ever on any stream in social media. On YouTube.
This is my first time.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Y'all hear it first. Y'all say screenshot it. Make sure everything's nice. I always take a risk, Chanel, because at times, I just don't bring it up. You get me? Because if last time there was some funny business. So that's why I said, just wave a little bit. Cause I let people, because like I said, it's optional. But anyway, you're here now. So for the very first time ever on YouTube, Chanel Shalom, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's on your mind? Let the people know, please.
I just had a couple of questions for Mr. Brown or Browner. I'm sorry.
Um, about the Will Smith situation, do you
Mhm.
feel like it's appropriate for us to use that as a teachable moment?
No, yeah, I do. It's if you're going to use it as a teachable moment, yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of lessons to be taken from that. Like about controlling your emotions and stuff like that. But that's not what you saw coming from a lot of people. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people are just using it as fodder to make themselves more relevant, especially within this gender war um culture we have going on right now. And so if you're going to use it as a teachable moment and your rhetoric reflects that, then I think that's different. But sitting here talking about this brother and his woman's relationship, judging another man's household, and using a lot of the language that these individuals are using with no deference to his family and especially his children, then that's inappropriate. Now, and to be honest with you, like he didn't slap he did Will Smith didn't do what he did in a vacuum. The man had been being the butt of people's jokes for months, for months on end. And so I think when you saw what he did with Chris Rock, I think at that moment Chris Rock stood as a symbol and an avatar for social media and the memes and just the popular culture that had been making fun of this man. And so I think that's why you saw that reaction that he had, because it pressure bust pipes.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like the red pill community is trying to undo some of the issues that you were talking about earlier? How you were talking about how we are, having a form of godliness and stuff like that, the scriptures. Do you feel like the red pill community is like making an attempt to undo these things?
No, not from what I've seen. I think they have one agenda, and that one agenda is they feel like they have to put women back into subjection. That's basically all it's about. Because if they were interested in getting like things in order and undoing some of the things, then just by virtue of that, you would have to hold men accountable as well as women, because it's two actors. Like they say, it takes two to tango. That's why I never solely just put it on men, because women do hold a certain level of responsibility too for their decisions, for how they choose to, interact with men, the type of men they choose to entertain and have children with, and stuff like that. But you don't see that coming from them. Like a lot of these brothers are chauvinists and they're jingoists, and so their whole agenda and they're only interested in subordinating women and shaming men into going along with this online bullying that a lot of them engage in. That's all. That's really all it is. That's all I see from it.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I wanted to ask.
Okay. Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm a.
And so there's no other questions, Queens of Virtue? I know this is the first time, and I know you're doing such a wonderful job, Chanel. I'm very proud. This is,
Oh,
yes. I normally we don't see this, but I'm hoping that
Well, let me ask her a question. Like, what are you encountering? Just in as a black woman, what are you encountering like from the so-called red pill community and just brothers out here at large? What are you encountering?
from the red pill community, I perceive them to be doing damage control. I feel like they are trying to correct some of the problems that we have in the black community. I
Mm,
do disagree with certain talking points that they have, but I
mm.
think their intentions overall is good.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. That very well may be like we may have. We may have just different approaches on how do you on how to get to that. But I don't know. For me, it's kind of hard for me to see it that way because just a lot of the rhetoric they use. Like I was making when I was talking about the fact that they peddle this notion of not having any social responsibility to guide a child that's not theirs, even though that child that's not theirs is going to be a peer of their child. So that child that's not theirs is going to affect and influence their child. That's their peer. That's why it's called peer pressure. So, and it's like things like that I hear. Like when we start talking about the issues of the community and stuff like that, they'll go into their whole, rugged individualism spiel. I'm an individual. I'm not a part of the Black community. That's the type of rhetoric that I hear. And when they do say things like that, what I'll ask them is, okay, so if that's the case, why are you here? Why are you here? Let's just keep it 100. Many of these men would not have anything to talk about were it not for Black single mothers. So even when you see people like Kevin Samuels and all these other individuals, these content creators and stuff, who are coming up and transforming their lives and making money, the ironic thing is they owe that success to Black single mothers. Because if it wasn't for Black single mothers, they wouldn't have anything to talk about. They wouldn't be relevant. Let's be real. When Kevin Samuels was doing fashion and cologne, nobody cared. Nobody listened to him. So on. So how, and that's what I'm saying. How do you criticize and critique a group of people and call these brothers 12 gauge Mike and Pookie and Ray and all this other stuff that you're saying and want to criticize a community you feel no social responsibility to pour back into, even though you're extracting value out of it? Kevin Samuels became a high value man because of Black women. So on some level, you have these dudes in the like this whole red pill stuff. They have a responsibility to pour back into that community. But when you put it within a larger framework of the fact that red pill shit that they come in with, they got it from the white man. A lot of it is white male talking points. Well, of course you would feel like you would need to pour back into that community that's giving you your prevalence, that's giving you your transformation in lifestyle and making you a high value man. But you'll go into these other communities and build their communities. Like messing with Latino, every other group of women is better than your own. And that's a lot of the rhetoric. That's why it's kind of like maybe some of them have good intentions, but I think overall it's just people just trying to make money. And a lot of them have said as much. If it wasn't for the so-called perceived dysfunction of the Black community or the Black community, they wouldn't have any relevance because they're not intelligent to talk about nothing else. That's why that's all they talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But then you don't want to expend any capital in building that community up that's giving you your seat of prominence on fucking YouTube. Like they're full of shit. They just want money. That's what I think.
You think that if they would talk more about like economics or politics and I guess like land ownership and home ownership, like if they kind of mixed their messages, together and not just focus on women, would that be better?
Well, let me give an answer to that.
Right, go ahead, Kev.
The answer is no, and here's why: because niggas don't give a fuck about economics or self-improvement. Period. Yes, I said.
Yep. And Cass, you know what? I'm gonna send you this, and I'm gonna send you this in Facebook right quick, and I want you to do it. I want you to do a screen share because I want to show something. Because it's. Let me see if I can find it. It's right on point with what you just said. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Did I send it? Yeah. Okay. Now put that screenshot up because it's a screenshot of brother Dennis Sperling. I think Dennis Sperling. I know Dennis is one of the brothers that I feel is genuine.
Hold on. Let me see. I'm waiting for a buffer. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Okay, he wants the best. I know he wants the best for black men. So on some level, like you can tell just by his content. Because if he was just if it was just a money grab, then his content would just be the red meat for that demographic. But Dennis, he mixes it up. So he tries to be, well-rounded in the content he puts out. But when he does put out like content that's productive, that's a productive conversation, it doesn't get much traction. That's what I want to show right here.
Let me see if I can zoom.
Yeah, zoom in on that, Chaos.
Let me see if this allow me.
What they're concerned with. Many of these brothers in this space, man. And I think, to be honest with you, just black men typically, just typical black. They see power as inconsequential to their quality of life and the quality of their relationships with black women.
Yeah,
they
I'm
think
I'm unable.
We think we're just entitled, but if you don't have power, how do you think you're going to have control over your women and children in your household if you don't have power? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Can you zoom in on it?
No, I can't. I'm unable.
Okay, well, you could take it off then. But if
I'll read it. It says here the art of conducting power and influence.
Now, how many likes he got? I mean, how many viewers he got?
It's 35. But let me check the overall view because that was a while.
That was yesterday. That wasn't a while ago. He did that. Dennis did that show yesterday because I watched it.
Okay, let me find out the amount of views. Let me stop sharing. Hold on.
Yeah, Dennis. But had that been a show about anything else dealing with poom poom and women, he would have had 300, 400 dudes in there. But when you're having a conversation about the art of getting power and influence in your personal life, they don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? That's an inconsequential conversation for them. They don't want to hear that, man. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's like how we talk about, the music and hip hop and stuff like that. But it's the reason why positive hip hop don't get traction. Positive hip hop don't get traction because that's not what niggas want to hear. Niggas want to hear.
He had 1.1K views on that stream.
Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad for one day, but I guarantee you, had it been something about, like I was saying, about women and stuff like that, like the red meat of the red pill content, he would have had 500 people in there watching it, man. You know what I'm saying? That's just that's what I'm talking about, and that's why I was talking about how even when we know how the algorithms are playing on our emotions and causing more strife and more division, we still do it. We still do it. And it's not just the men. Like, don't get me, it's the women too. Like these divestors and Cynthia G and all this dumb shit they be saying, abort black male babies, and they're doing that because they know that's what the women want to hear.
Yeah,
and that's going to get the views. Like look. Tashina Arnold came out the other day and posed a question about how black women can stop emasculating black men, and she was met with resistance. But then the same women like Cynthia Jenner get on there and run their mouth and talk about how the men emasculated. So you want to emasculate black men and then blame blame these black men for being emasculated when you're the fucking one doing it. So when he doesn't have any confidence, when he doesn't have any ambition, when he doesn't have any drive, then you want to sit there and wonder why and talk about why you don't have the types of men you say you want. You bitches getting the men you deserve.
Yeah.
It's gonna always go the same way. Excuse my language. You're getting the men you deserve. You're not pouring in any capital into these groups of men you claim you want and you claim you loyal to. So what you expect? Like this, they act like what I'm saying is some type of foreign, far out concept. It's very logical. If brothers say they want a better stable of women, then you have to put in the work to have those kind of women. You have to put in the capital to have those types of women, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple. So it's gonna always be geared towards balance, and that's what I'm saying. Like you see the sisters doing the femininity thing, because many sisters want to get married. They want a husband.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the sisters doing the femininity, taking the femininity courses and stuff like that. But you don't see none of these brothers taking husbandry. Like I told you, try and put together a husbandry course and see how many niggas join it. They think they just ready, even though they've never seen the example. Like they just know how to do it by instinct. No, the same way being a submissive housewife and feminine, and those things come from being acculturated, and that's a skill set that women have to be taught. It's the same thing for men in terms of husbandry and doing what you need to be doing as a husband. You don't just know how to do those things, but they're not gonna you put together a husbandry course, man. Like you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They don't hear that. They want to hear, alpha male tactics for to dealing with modern women. You know what I'm saying? They want to hear all of that. That's what I'm telling you. That's why they call Russell Wilson corny. That's not the lifestyle they want. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Exactly, our talk.
I mean, yeah, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So how you gonna defend women who think it's okay to emasculate their men? Then complain and whine when they can't find a black man worth a damn.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get these Taz archetype dudes, that's what you deserve.
Mm-hmm.
You deserve that type of dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The baby Huey, the son husband type dude, the mama's boy type dude. That's what you deserve.
But let's keep real, Amiri. They not only deserve, but they want it and like it because they want control. And that's what it starts with the boys.
They don't want it like that. These women don't want it like that. Like a lot of these women miserable, man. Don't believe that. That's cap. That's pride. It's the same thing. It's the same thing like what you see dudes doing. It's pride. That's what I'm telling you. Like you got a lot of pride around here. That's a front, man. A lot of these miserable. But to admit it publicly, and to show vulnerability publicly. See, you got to realize when you're dealing with black men and black women, you're dealing with two individual groups who are the most vulnerable within American society. So to show any level of vulnerability is weakness. It's just like what we talked about with Will Smith, and Will Smith said, "Love will make you do crazy things."
Mm-hmm.
So the man loved his wife. The man loved his family. The man loved his children. And if you disagree with any other of the decisions he's made, at the end of the day, the endeavor is honorable. But you'll see how we'll cannibalize on the same men who claim they need more families and the importance of a father. But see what I'm saying? So they'll cannibalize on. The man love his wife and family. What, he's supposed to hate her? Because you hate your baby mama, or because you hate your ex-wife, he's supposed to hate his wife?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like when Chanel asked about the teacher, it was a teachable moment, but we don't care about being taught. We care about the rhetoric. We care about being entertained. We don't care about learning. We care about entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
May I ask you guys another question?
Yes, go ahead.
How do y'all feel about married men being in the manosphere?
That's a deep question. I'm not sure what the right way to answer that. My thing is this: if the married man that's in what we call the mass, which some claim they're married, okay, there should be teaching and instilling not only the positive but the negative side of marriage, to the point where it said not condone and tell men they shouldn't jump in it, but know the risks and tell them if they're going to be stepping up or getting at a higher position in the society, it would make better sense. You're going to have to sit down with somebody and marry in time.
Mm-hmm.
This bachelor thing that I'm hearing a lot of dudes do because of the laws and stuff. I get it, but let's be honest. This country is not designed to operate through single people. The people that got the most wealth and shut people out are unfortunately married.
Yeah,
True.
And that's hard.
overall, the laws benefit married
But
people in this
true.
country, man.
Go ahead. What you about to say, Mary?
I said overall, the laws benefit married people in this country. Overall, like you see it like with the taxes, with the insurance laws and stuff like that. The laws benefit married people more than single. There's a single tax in the society. If you're single, you're going to pay higher taxes. You're going to pay a higher tax rate just because you're single. That's why when you look at the AEI Black Men Making It in America report, one of the engines of Black men's economic social mobility was marriage. What the problem is for Black women, marriage doesn't have the same financial impact that it has for Black men and that it has for other groups of women, because a lot of times the sister's going to be having to work just like they single. We don't want to have an honest conversation about that.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? We don't. So like when you see, and that's what I was telling Ramil, telling these men to be single. Like, this nigga not no fucking sociologist, man. Like, you won't be if you're Black and you're single, you're at a distinct disadvantage in the society. They'll try and make it like they're not, but they are. And more times than not, those men that you see now that's in their 20s, single and talking about those going to be the men that's on child support in their 30s and their 40s, because we already know from the empirical data 60% of Black men in their 30s and 80% of Black men in their 40s have children.
Yeah.
So those are going to be the dudes paying. That's what I'm telling you. Like, what they're saying about child support resonate more than what I'm saying, because they already see themselves in that situation in the future, because they don't plan on getting married, but they're going to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
But talking about how the women anti this and anti that, you just like them. That's what I keep saying. You just like them. So, like, Black men, and they're fine having Black men, married men in the manosphere, so long as those men are going to back up their talking points. But if those men come bringing another perspective or other views that may not necessarily be lockstep in with what they only want to see and they only want to say, then they'll turn on those men. They'll attack those men. They'll call those men cucks. They'll call those men simps. They'll talk about.
I know a few men, aka Alan Roger Curry. They did that.
They'll talk about those men's wives and their family and so forth and so on. But then talk about the misandry coming from women or Black women. But you being misandrous. You being misandry. You sitting here calling this man a cuck, that's misandry. Mm-hmm. You sitting here calling this man a simp because he got a different view on a particular topic, or because this man love his wife and this man love his children and this man love his family, then you ain't no better than these feminists and these liberals you're talking about. That's the part they don't understand. It's like that philosopher said, he who peers into the abyss must take care that the abyss doesn't peer back into him, something to that effect. And what that means is when you're fighting them, you can't become like the monster you're fighting, because then you ain't no better. That's what I'm talking about. Like, they just think they only see it coming from that side. They don't see how they're the counter to it. They're just like it. They're just on the man side. They don't see that. And when you're fighting a monster, you can't become like the monster you fighting. You've already defeated yourself when you do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah, man. A lot of parables, a lot of philosophy, a lot of terms laid out here. I hope people are able to keep up.
Hold up. Hard Talk Radio said a lot of these men gonna die in nursing homes. Yep. But projecting it to the women, y'all gonna die alone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
He right though, man. I'm telling you, they gonna a lot of these brothers, man, gonna die in nursing homes, man. Alone. You know what I'm saying? Alone and forgotten, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right, King Wage. Interesting. I'll never look at for relationships, but based on today's society structure, I would much rather protect my freedom. Okay, that's cool.
It's rough out here, man. That's why I was talking about how people we become sociopaths. We don't care what we do to people in an effort of getting what we want.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we're being socialized to operate. That's the point I'm making about how they're using Will and Jada as fodder because their agenda is to gain prominence and relevance and want to be a fucking influencer and content creator. But you don't care what you're doing to these people and the rhetoric that you're using in the effort of doing that, and have no conscience about that's sociopathy.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is creating that. That's what social media is creating.
Mm-hmm. 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 I think one of the issues, and I will recap and do another show on this, the real effects of social media. That social media is a monster in itself, and it was a well-designed product to really cause what we call the average or the mass of people to be very much easily distracted and now easily brainwashed in a way. Because now we can know and dictate your emotions, your feelings through simple text and gestures and certain images through other media outlets. Because if you think about cable television, it's been dead now for over a decade. Even now, I heard from they call CNN Plus that's been canceled. So it tells you even them crossing over in the more digital space that's been holding the control of people's eyes for such a long time are not transitioning properly. And that tells you that even the media that's trying to keep pulling lies to you, it's not effective now. They had to come out with something much sharper, much better. So like I said, you gotta take control, people. I'm hoping that this was really helpful for those that listen in. I made this show intentionally with the help of Mary Browner to really have this discussion. And let's be honest, we could say that you could control child and fight in your mind, but your behind is still in Mars. Your mind might be in Mars, but your behind is behind bars. And if I said it right, your mind is in Mars, but your body or your behind is behind bars. So you might have to take the actions at the end of it. And that's an old quote from Kali Abdul Muhammad, unfortunately. So, yeah. Amiri, do you have any closing remarks for today's stream?
No, you know, not especially. It's always a pleasure. You know, it was a pleasure to hear from Chanel and Thought Willie, and hopefully I can get my schedule, where I need it to be, man, so we can do this more, more often. I think if anybody sits back and actually listens to what we have to say, they'll find it's one of the most logical, thoughtful, well laid out assessments and analysis of the current state of affairs, because we're not partial. We're impartial and objective and logical with our positions. The agenda that we strive for and have always strove for is greatness and attending to the better angels of our nature. Never to hurt, harm, maim, or tear down, but only to edify, build up, and impart a different way of doing things. So we can have the type of community everybody claim they want. That's always been the focal point and the goal.
Yeah, but you know, like I said, this was good. This was great. I think a lot of people did take a lot to today's stream, and like everybody know that Amir has his own channel, but you know we're gonna go into that right now. But like I said, while he's here on my channel, soak up this intellect, learn some. Hopefully, if you could reference what he said, that would be better. Don't take his word for it. You know what I'm saying? Like anything is given, the information is present to you. You gotta seek it out, search for it. You know, one of the few things with topics like this, things have to be really deconstructed properly. As you know, there are some people that's gonna say opposition things, and we are here to listen to it. But like I said, if you really want to have the conversation, you know, it'd be better to come up and have the conversation dialogue. You know what I'm saying? This is not really an echo chamber. As y'all know, the Chaos Reign channel, personally, I talk about a lot of things. I try not to take, and I make conscious everything don't take sides. You know, and I have few friends that I do talk online, offline. I could be sitting there and feel so that there's gonna be a side pick. No, we don't do that shit here. I'm saying I will stay back and listen personally. You know, now if you want to go on your own channels and have the one-sided thing, you're free to do so. I have no problem with it. But over here, we're going to have this conversation. There should not be one-sided thing. We're going to have dialogue. I'm saying we're going to challenge each other and see what we're saying is right. Logic. You get me? Because one thing with a lot of brothers and sisters, they like to keep echo chambers going. They like to keep the rhetoric going and keep the bullshit lie. And you have to make a conscious effort to find and squeeze and find under that rubble the truth, under that crap. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like always, you know, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Chaos Reign channel. And like always, if you're going to be new to this channel or you're going to find this channel, make sure when you find Chaos Reign, hit that red button. Hit the top, not the middle, but the top notification bell where there's uploads and live streams here in the Chaos Reign channel. Also, follow me on Twitter at Chaos Reign 7. And I'm on Facebook, as you know, Eric Ray on Facebook, as always. I'm building these social media platforms. As I'm going to touch IG, I have no goddamn idea. You know what I'm saying? That's pure pictures. I like to watch women, nice, sexy bodies, and then I might just comment and like, but I'm not going to sit in the IG right now for this channel, so don't expect it, you know. But other than that, you know. Oh, and also I got Discord as well. And these are all the links to find Chaos Reign channel. Oh yeah, and don't forget support the channel. Yes, thank you, King Vaughn. Please, Cash App $ Chaos 8 Read, so this channel could be some most money is gonna go back to the channel anyway, depending on what I get. So please support. Like always, y'all support everything else. So god damn it, support this channel. You know what I'm saying? And that's all it. But like always, you know where to find me. Chaos Reign.